You need money? Okay, we'll sell you off as a medical experiment. We can get you money that way.
If I decided tomorrow that I wish Amazon did less pioneering and more close following, I couldn't do it.
In the beginning, there will be few people who believe in you or in what you're doing.
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business.
Living that believing life. Out here living that believing life. Every day we living that believing life. Hustle like we living that believing life. Living life, yeah, so we grinding it out. Every single day we be grinding it out. Hustle like we living that believing life, oh. That believing life, oh.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn how billionaires think to get some success advice from the top. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule #1. Be persuasive with Elon Musk.
If you think about a company is a group of people that are organized to create a product or service. That's what a company is. So in order to create such a thing, you have to convince others to join you in your effort. And so they have to be convinced that it's a sensible thing, that there's at least some reasonable chance of success, and if there is success, that the reward will be commensurate with the effort involved, so I think that's getting people to believe in what you're doing and in you is important. So in the beginning, there will be few people who believe in you or in what you're doing, but then over time, as you make progress, the evidence will build, and more people will believe in what you're doing. So I think it's a good idea when creating a company to have a demonstration, or if it's a product, to have like a good mock-up, or if it's software, to have good demoware, or to be able to sketch something so that people can really envision what it's about. Try to get to that point as soon as possible, and then iterate to make it as real as possible, as fast as possible.
Rule #2, build a strong company culture with Jeff Bezos.
My opinion is that I can do some things at Amazon that would be hard for other people to do, only because of my history with the company. And as the company has grown, of course, my job has changed very much. And it has, my main job today is I'm kind of I work hard at helping to maintain the culture. A culture of high standards, of operational excellence, of inventiveness, of willingness to fail, willingness to make bold experiments. I'm the counterbalance to the institutional no who can say yes. But I won't, I'm not going to be here forever. Amazon is many of the traits that make Amazon unusual are now deeply ingrained in the culture. In fact, if I wanted to change them, I couldn't. If I decided tomorrow that I wish Amazon did less pioneering and more close following, I couldn't do it. The culture cultures are self-reinforcing, and that's a good thing. The people who come to the company, sometimes people come to the company and they find Amazon very boring because we don't have enough, competitive zeal. We don't wake up. Some annual planning processes and some companies literally start with who are our 3 biggest enemies, and then here's how we're going to hold them at bay or defeat them. And we don't have such a list at Amazon. It's not how our annual planning process works. And so, but if you're, on the other hand, if you're the kind of person who gets up in the morning and says, in the shower time, what can we invent for customers and what can we do differently and how can we improve that experience and so on, then it's going to be a playground. I still run into work, by the way. I took my family on vacation to France, my wife's extended family. There were about 20 of us. And we had an unbelievably good time. Great food, everything. We were there for a week. I got back to Seattle and I ran into the office. I'm having so much fun.
Rule number 3, outwork everyone with Mark Cuban.
Most people do a lot of talking and most people don't put in the effort. There's nothing you can accomplish in life with the right amount of work. The challenge is, are you willing to do the work? And the reality is most people aren't, but that's the opportunity, right? It's like people at school. Most people are lazy, right? They barely get through it. And so that creates opportunity. I tell my kids that A, if they want something, they're gonna have to earn it.
Yeah.
And B, if they don't work hard enough to earn it, I'm gonna sell them off as medical experiments. That's the line in our house, right? I'm gonna sell you off as medical experiments. You need money? Okay, we'll sell you off as a medical experiment. We can get you money that way. I'll go give blood. Dad, I'm 7. I don't care.
Also, if you want to have more self-belief and more self-confidence, I've created a special free program where every day for the next 254 days, I will send you an unlisted video to help you boost your self-belief and self-confidence. The link to join for free is in the description below.
But if you ask me to write a story on what is Potomac Electric Power worth or something like that, I can write the story, and that's what I'm doing every day. I'm assigning myself a story, and then I go out and...
So you get...
I've always been passionate. Some people thought, it's more OCD than anything else.
Starting companies like staring into the abyss and eating glass.
Rule number 4, choose the right heroes with Warren Buffett.
I was very lucky in life. If you tell me who your heroes are, I will make a pretty good prediction about what you're going to do. And I had the right heroes. I was very lucky in life, and my heroes never let me down, and started with my dad. And then I had others in business, and so I have had great teachers, some formal teachers, some that were just informal teachers by instinct or example. And if I hadn't had those, my life, I'm sure, would have been very different.
Rule number 5, make a choice with Oprah Winfrey.
We have to make the choice every single day to channel our own inner Jacindas, to exemplify the truth and the respect and the grace that we actually wish for the world. We need to tell it, as we're doing at this conference. We need to write it. We need to sing it. We need to proclaim it. We need to be it. We need to be the truth. We have to be the respect. We have to be the fierceness, the love that we want to see. And when we do that, mark my words, a change is already coming.
Rule number 6, conquer self-doubt with Jesse Itzler.
Now, fear is a really powerful thing. But when you surrender and say, I'm not scared of fear, it's unbelievably liberating. Now, I don't like to be embarrassed, but I'm not scared of it. But it wasn't always like that for me. When I was a senior in college, there was a girl that I liked. I had to have my roommate in college call her up and ask her to go to the formal as me. He literally called up and said, hey, this is Jesse. That fast forward 20 years. I like this girl. I'm trying to court her. She's the founder of Spanx. I call the phone, her assistant at Spanx, and this is the same time that I'm about to run a 100-mile race nonstop in 24 hours for charity. I call up, I get to the assistant, and I said, can you tell Sarah that I would love to wear Spanx in this 100-mile race if she would give me a testimonial for my website? I don't want a testimonial, I wanted Sarah. Obviously, the assistant goes, hold on one second, puts me on hold and says, Sarah, there's some lunatic on the phone that wants to run 100 miles in Spanx. She says, I think I might know that lunatic. And a year later, she married the lunatic. But in between that time when my roommate had a call to ask this girl for a date, to when I got Sarah, I call it like the lamb mentality and the lion mentality, there was a lot of self-doubt. And self-doubt is probably the biggest enemy to creativity. And the way you conquer self-doubt is by doing things that make you uncomfortable.
And rule number 7, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is learn from experience with John Paul DeJoria.
How did you get through, like, tactically to a sale in the encyclopedia world? Like, people don't want to hear from you. No. So, like, how do you overcome that?
What a question to ask me. The average encyclopedia salesman lasted 3 days. I was at it for 3.5 years. And the way it worked in those days, it was commission only. So the way it worked is you went for an interview, they told you all you could possibly make off commission only, and we were in training for 3 days. It was a presentation that was scripted. We'd have to memorize the whole thing. Well, when you go out in the field, you remember parts of it. You knock on doors, you're not quite sure of yourself, a lot of doors are closed in your face. But what happens, after a while, you start getting used to it, and you see what you can say or do that'll make it better. Or when you go back the next day with your other salespeople, what you see, what you do, what did I say? So let's say I knock on 100 doors to get into one. Give 10 presentations to sell one book. But then when you get better and better at it, through your experiences and losses along the way, it sharpens you up. Where all of a sudden I got to a point where if I gave 3 presentations, I have no less than 1 order, commission only. But I believed that I could do that. I believed that Colliers was the best set of books because a high school student could read it. It wasn't like a college manual you had to read, and I was doing something good for somebody. So you have to believe that what you're doing is good, it's going to benefit somebody, and you learn as you go. Okay, do I look someone in the eye? See, a lot of people don't know these things. Look someone in the eye. All too often people say, it's hard to look someone in the eye because you feel uncomfortable. Of course you do. They're not on the same wavelength you're on or the same frequency. So what do? How do you overcome that? You learn these things along the way. You look them right between the eyes or at their eyebrows. Looks like you're looking them in the eye. I've been working on a book for a couple of years with some of these tips, and it's not ready yet. Maybe next year it'll be ready. But there's all these things. And of course, smile. Smile is the most wonderful thing God gave us. And you don't smile when you first talk to somebody. You smile before you knock on their door. And if your day sucks, you fake it. Hi, how you doing? Because when you smile, everything changes. People change.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video? And what is your specific plan of action for the next week? When you just watch a video and get motivated by it, you have a 35% chance of following through. But when you get motivated and then create a specific plan of action, you have a 91% chance of following through. That's what we do here, Believe Nation. We get motivated, but then we do something about it. And when you commit to other people, you increase your chances even further of following through. So, what was your biggest takeaway from this video? And then what is your plan of action around it for this week? Put it down in the comments below because I want to celebrate you.
One of the things when I really sit and think, why am I comfortable taking risks? What is it?
Yeah, where's it come from?
I was really lucky. When I was growing up, my dad used to actually encourage my brother and me to fail. And so I would come home and sit at the dinner table and he would say, Sarah, what did you fail at this week? And if I didn't have something, he would actually be disappointed. And I can vividly remember coming home and saying, Dad, I tried out for this and I was horrible. And he would high five me. And what I didn't realize
that is so awesome.
I didn't realize it at the time, but he was teaching us that failure is not trying versus the outcome. And so with Spanx and everyone saying it was such a bad idea initially, and I feel like I feel much freer to be willing to fail in the traditional sense because I'm not focused on the end result. And the more, it's like working a muscle. The more you're willing to risk something and maybe fail, you realize there's always a really awesome hidden gift in it.
Exactly.
It's either you meet someone new that brings you to a different place in your life, or you learn something new, and so I always was really excited by how my life grew by every risk I took.
If you want 7 more lessons from how billionaires think, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
At Amazon, one of the things we try to do is have multiple paths to yes.
You don't have solutions for artificial intelligence.